Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on WKYC. We're here every Friday at 12:30 Eastern Time for 30 minutes, as Mikey likes to say, with never-before-seen USCC content. I'm Jay Crawford. Coming up, how good will Will Howard, the Buckeye quarterback, be in the NFL? Sean King weighs in. It's not good.
Oh, it's your turn?
Jason.
I'm Jason Lloyd. Linebacker Jerome Baker visited the Browns recently. He's a Cleveland native. Does it make sense to load up on the linebacker room, particularly given JOK's injury concerns? Now it's your turn.
That's my turn. I was hyped to say nothing. Listen, the Cleveland Browns reportedly don't have any money. I don't understand how they get these free agents. Everybody keeps signing for more and more money. We'll give grades out, but I'm just wondering, where is they getting this money from, McNuggets?
Yeah, we have a topic to end today's show that the three sitting out there have no idea what it is.
It's a mystery topic.
And I cannot wait to see their reaction to it when we get to it. So that's coming up at the end of the show. But we start with some free agency grades, Jay.
Yeah, you're right, G. I thought we had $13 million in cap space coming into free agency. And somehow, they're not huge splashes, but they're decent players. And look at the names here.
Right.
How did they do this with a $13 million budget? And what kind of grade are we going to give Andrew Berry for the first 2 weeks of free agent season? Jason, you can start.
Well, they do it by doing what they always do and converting money into bonus and creating cap space with a wave of the pen. Now it comes down to what are you actually going to do with the cap space. I think that they've done a lot of meat and potatoes type of signings. They've done a lot of building blocks. It makes sense. Free agency, we've talked about it before. Free agency to me is to cover up for draft mistakes, and they've had plenty of draft mistakes over the years. So this is sort of a stopgap until you can try and backfill it and get it right with the draft. So no name is going to jump out at you as a home run signing, but these are important building blocks, and guys are going to play a role on this team.
I'm still wondering where they getting this money from. The cash day, payday, advance loans, I don't know, but shout out to them. The interest rate's crazy, but it gets it done. I look at it, so 1 year deals, a couple of 1 year deals. Joe Tryon, I like him. He's a former first round pick. I like that they got another returner, but it always seems like the Cleveland Browns, when they sign a returner, he just never returns.
He gets hurt in the first play of the season.
Oh, and just I was like, man.
It's like the Madden curse.
It is. If you get signed for a returner, God bless you if you're doing it for the Browns. But listen, I give it I don't know. I told you I'm not going to be over aggressive. I'm going to give you a C. It's average.
Wow, I thought I would be higher than I thought you'd be higher than me.
No, listen, I learned my lesson last year. The Duke and knee jerk is rolling it back a little bit.
You're kind of from Missouri now. Yeah, you got to show me.
You got to show me, man. I can't be out here. We won 3 games last year, and there's a lot of those guys that we signed as free agents that really didn't turn into much. Guys that didn't really show up and do their thing. So for me, I'll give it a C. I want to see what these guys is about. They got some guys that look like they got some first-round talent. But for me, I need to wait and see.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
You like him?
I didn't see that happening. I thought for sure you'd have like a B+.
Right.
I got a B-, which isn't
right
great,
there.
but it's higher than you. Here's why I have a B-. Number one, I'm just going based on the reports of what they have available under the cap. If you would have told me before free agency season began that they were going to bring in those 5 names, again, not household names, but there's something to each one of them. There's a reason there's a glimmer of hope around each one of those guys. If you'd have told me they're going to bring in these 5 players for $13 million, I would have said, I don't see how you're doing that. Joe Tryon had some interesting comments when the Browns rolled him out for his news conference. You could read between the lines, and you could see that he did not like the way they used him in Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
And he is very excited about coming to a Jim Schwartz defense. And there's reason for him to be excited, because that's the kind of player that Jim Schwartz can sprinkle a little magic fairy dust on, and all of a sudden everybody's like, wow, where did this guy come from? He's going to unlock him. So I think that's a good signing. By and large, I do discount all of the previous free agent seasons because each one is a life has a life of its own.
Yeah.
Now, the last couple of free agent seasons have been woefully bad. They brought in names that we did cartwheels about when we heard them, and then we're like, "Wow, this guy, is he even with the team anymore?"
Yeah.
So
It's
I
really
give him a
hard
B
to
minus.
hit home runs. It's really hard to hit home runs.
Especially when you got this kind of a budget.
In free
If you're
agency.
$100 million under the cap,
Yeah.
you can make some real inroads. When you got $13 million, like someone said yesterday about the signing class in general, these guys, there's nothing that gets me excited about these guys. And I said, you're the kind of person that walks into a Jaguar dealership, but you have a Ford budget, and you think that magically you can just buy a Jaguar because you like it. This is not the 5 names that I would have picked if I had no limits financially, but based on our financial limitations, I think we've done pretty good. Now, the proof will be in the pudding. Let's see what they do next year on the field.
Go back to 2020 when they had a lot of money to spend in free agency, right? Here's who they signed. Austin Hooper. What kind of impact did that make?
Yeah.
None.
Jack Conklin, who is still here.
Still
That
starting.
worked.
Case Keenum.
No, served a role, but
B.J. Goodson, Carl Joseph, Andrew Billings, Kevin Johnson, Adrian Claiborne.
Yeah.
That's when they had a lot of money to spend.
you know what? This is what it is. You go into your favorite store. What's your favorite clothing store you love to go in to shop?
Man, Polo.
Okay, you go into Polo, and the racks up front have the $140 Polo shirts. And then you wander through the store and you say, whoa, what's this? 60% off. And then you start looking through this t-shirt's $9. That's where they're shopping. That's because that's their
80%
budget.
off. One sleeve's longer than the other.
Manufacturing defects.
Missing a button.
And it only come in a youth medium.
Hey, you know what? And you know
I
what
don't
they
want no
say?
youth medium.
I'm gonna look good from behind.
Remember
But in front, it's got the blemishes.
Do you remember the shirt that Lisa made Theo on Cosby Show?
No, I don't. What'd she do?
The fact that you pulled that out.
Just Google it.
Just
Google the shirt that Lisa made Theo
Okay.
on Cosby Show.
So
and
it
when
was
he
from
came
the
down.
discount rack.
Yeah.
He came out looking like
point is-
this.
My point is, you shop in the discount bin, you get damaged goods.
Yeah.
You get what you get,
Yeah.
and you get what you pay for oftentimes.
Yep.
And so, but considering their financial restraints, you give me this class, I'm like, wow, didn't see this coming. Didn't think they had the capital to get that done. All right, let's move on to Jerome Baker. Now, this is a guy who is from Cleveland. Won a state championship, I believe, at Benedictine. He went on to play at Ohio State, had a nice career there. I think he came out a year early.
He did. That is correct.
Okay. Drafted by Miami, and then signed as a free agent in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. Or was he traded to Seattle?
He signed as a free agent in Seattle, then
and
traded
then was
to
traded.
Tennessee.
Okay,
Correct.
that's what it was. Signed as a free agent in Seattle, played, and he's with the Titans now. He visited, and obviously playing linebacker. This is a position. If there's the biggest question mark over this team for me, and I know quarterback, take that out of the mix.
Yeah.
For me, it's linebacker because if
Yeah.
JOK comes back, I think we're okay. If JOK doesn't come back, that cupboard is bare.
Yeah.
Would you guys be okay with the Browns and Baker hooking up and making a deal?
Hey, listen.
I don't know where that money's coming from.
I don't either, but linebackers matter. We talked about it this one year, and JOK did a whole lot to kind of cover up a lot of stuff because he was actually a dynamic playmaker and trending towards one of your best defensive players in the league. Now you don't know what's going on with him. They signed Devin Bush. They got Bookie Watson back there. They signed out of Mississippi State a couple of years ago. See what he's going to do. But for the most part, they're gonna come out with the middle of the road linebackers. They're not going to do too much, Jason. And listen,
So do you advocate signing him?
I can, of course. If they could get another body that could come out there, I'm only looking for a couple. I'm looking for guys that could be a linebacker on special teams. Maybe I'm going to use you a nickel, and then I'm looking for a 1 or 2 down linebacker in rundowns. We already got that with Devin Bush. He's a thumper. You can get him in there. But I would love to have Baker to come in and give some depth.
Yeah, you're looking, especially at this position, you're looking for economical deals, and we've talked about it before, but linebacker is just not a position of priority in Jim Schwartz's scheme. It is the least important spot. Doesn't mean there's no importance. Of course, you need guys who can play and make plays out there. And I do think that the JOK injury concern is sort of looming over all of this. But it's for in Schwartz's scheme, it's up front and it's in the back. It's creating chaos across the defensive line, and then obviously coverage in the secondary. And linebacker sort of gets lost in the mix. So if they can come up with an economical deal for him or a team-friendly deal, if it's not him, it'll be somebody. It'll be somebody in that ilk.
Yeah, where's the money coming from?
Well, I mean, when they restructured Deshaun, it cleared like another $35 million. Like, this is what they do. And this is why you just keep restructuring that deal over and over and over again.
But do you really want to be paying Deshaun Watson in 2075?
But it's just, it won't go that long. But you're kicking money down the road.
2030.
You're kicking money down the road as the cap continues to go up, that the impact on that is less and less. But anyone who will tell you that there is no impact from the swing and the miss of the Deshaun deal is fooling themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Of course
there will be a price to pay.
There's devastation.
We're already paying that price because we missed on 3 first-round draft picks that we didn't have.
And it limits you in what you can do in free agency every year.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you can't do anything, but it limits the amount that you can spend. It limits you across. You can't miss on a $230 million contract and have no consequences.
Yeah, for those that argue that the Deshaun Watson contract and miss in the end won't have that big of an impact, I would say this. Go to any NFL team. I don't care which one. Steelers, Giants, Patriots, I don't care. Take 3 first-round draft picks presently on their roster and remove them. Even if they were misses, they're first-round draft picks, and they're likely starting. So take those players off any team. We went 3 years without being able to select in the top 32 in the league. That's killer. Steve, I don't know if you can zoom in on Channel 3. If you can zoom in on my phone on Channel 3, I want to go to break this way.
Your
You
phone's
mentioned,
backwards.
no, I know. I'm going to reveal it. You had mentioned that there was the Theo shirt in the discount bin. That's what the Browns are getting in free agency.
Boy, that silky button, that look like lingerie.
Some of it looks good, some of it isn't. All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, Sean King, our quarterback guru, goes into the lab and breaks down the tape of Buckeye quarterback Will Howard. How good will Howard be at the next level? Brace yourself. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We've been talking quarterbacks really for the last 2 months as the Browns are getting ready for the draft. They need a quarterback. So we decided we would do a series where we asked our quarterback professor, Sean King, Super Bowl winner, former NFL starter, to go in the lab and look at tape of these guys and tell us what you see. Here now is Sean King on Buckeyes national championship winning quarterback, Will Howard.
All right, Sean, Will Howard is the talk of the town here in Cleveland, considering he just won a national championship 2 hours south in Columbus. After the combine, he tested well. People seem to think he has a chance to potentially sneak into the back of the first round, if not go somewhere on early day 2. I hear the chuckle from you, so I don't think you're in that camp, but we got 3 plays here from the national championship to highlight some of what Will Howard does well, Sean.
Well, let me first of all tell everybody in Ohio and Buckeye Nation, congratulations on winning the national title. Will Howard did a great job of managing the game on the best college football team money could buy, and it worked out. But as far as him being a first-round quarterback prospect, and I'm glad we're doing this post-combine, because anybody that watched the quarterbacks of the combine, Will Howard was absolutely the worst. I do think that he has an opportunity, though, to be a late-round draft pick, meaning a 6th or 7th round draft pick that becomes a quintessential backup. You know, a guy that's good for the quarterback room, a guy that's professional, is always there on time. If something happened and he had to play a quarter or a half, you know, he'd be able to manage the game and not lose because of the quarterback. So when I'm evaluating Will and you can run the play, you know, that's just what I see. And it's not a knock. It just is what it is. Makes good decisions, but look at this ball. That ball is floating. You know, that ball is a low ball at 17, has the reach. I think that's tape, that he has the reach down to grab. You know, all those other guys that have that elite arm talent, that ball is in the face mask. And it's gaining velocity as it gets to the pass catcher. And, you know, this isn't an isolated thing. I think this is also an issue that Quinn Ewers from Texas has. He very similar arm talent to Will Howard. And it just is what it is. God done bless us all with big-time traits. Now, can he overcome what I think is a lack of actual elite natural ability? Yeah, he did it this year at Ohio State. But to think that he's a first-round draft pick, I can't get in the boat and say I agree with that. I can't even say that I think he's a day 2 draftable guy. I think he's a back half of the day 3 kind of quarterback that could end up playing a long time as a backup, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sean, Jay Crawford's going to be very upset with you after what you just said. I'm just going to tell you that now. You're going to get an angry text from Jay, who predictably loves Will Howard. Here's the second play we got, Sean. And in the national championship game, he did start nearly perfect in the first half. This was one of those throws.
Well, I love Jay. That's my guy. I'm happy that Ohio State won. I think this is a great job of Will Howard going through his progressions and making the right decision under pressure. He throws an accurate ball. And that's why I think he can be a career backup. I think if he has to come into the game, you're getting a guy that sees the field well, that's able to execute the offense. But when we're talking about first-round pick, I'm talking about a guy that can change our organization, right? Because, Jay, when you see this, I want you to think about it like this. If I take a player in the first round and I bypass another player that's elite, what am I doing? It'd be like when you look at this draft, the edge rushers are good. So Cleveland is losing Myles Garrett. What if I drafted Will Howard instead of Myles Garrett coming out of college?
Not good.
Because we needed a quarterback. You're still going to need a quarterback if you draft Will Howard. I don't think, when it comes to traits, that he fits in the top 32 quarterbacks in the world. So you're going to have, in my opinion, what would be the least talented quarterback in the National Football League. Now, he could still put it together and make it work, but I think you're rolling the dice that the odds just aren't in your favor. So I'm happy for Will. I'm happy for the Buckeyes. I thought they earned this national title because their path to this national title was extremely difficult when you see who they had to beat. But if you're asking my honest opinion, I just don't think Will Howard is a starting quarterback in the National Football League.
The last play we have from Will Howard here, Sean, is the one that will go down in the record books in the minds of all Ohio State fans. Notre Dame making a comeback late, and that was put to bed when Will Howard found Jeremiah Smith on this deep bomb to seal the deal. Sean, it was a completion, but in your opinion, was it a great throw?
Well, here's the thing. What took you so damn long? Was it Chip Kelly or was it Will Howard? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time Jeremiah Smith got a target in the entire second half of this game. That's why the game was close. Like, one thing I want to tell Will, when you got really good players, give them a chance to be really good players. Again, this is a great anticipation. They caught Notre Dame in a very vulnerable coverage where Jeremiah was one-on-one with no safety help. So he does a good job of inside stemming this route, but that's an impossible cover for the corner. So it's a great completion in a pressure situation by Will Howard, but I don't think there's a draft-eligible quarterback that doesn't make this throw.
Jay, your response.
Yeah, I want to go to the first play again. If we can roll that in. I don't know if you can do that with just out his
We'll
audio.
kill the audio.
Yeah.
You'll see us talking.
Okay, so the first play, he said, he doesn't have a strong arm. Look at this throw. It's got air under it. It's a softball. It's because it was a touch pass. There's a linebacker, number 44, is a good player. Number 44 is underneath. So on that throw, correct me if I'm wrong,
I like
that's
that
a touch pass. He needs to get that over the linebacker and drop it into the receiver.
I thought this was a nice throw. Like the linebacker,
I liked it a lot.
The linebacker simulates a rush, so he comes up to the line of scrimmage. He gets hands on the tackle. Then he drops back underneath the crossing route. And I thought Will did a good job.
Well, he picked that up.
He picked it up, saw him. He put it over the arching hands of the linebacker, but right on the sideline where he can get 2 feet in. So I thought that was a real good throw. I thought
it's a teardrop.
Yeah,
I just think that
he dropped it in there.
It shows. I'm never going to question his arm strength. Go back to the Smith play, and that's just one of many I saw him throw this year with NFL velocity and zip. This just, to me, I know that he says that this is why he wouldn't take him. Oh, we got rid of it just when we were
bringing it back. Listen, it's not as easy with vMix as it is on other systems.
I know, because it was 30 seconds into the package.
Yeah, I know, and it's
I
tough
get
to
it.
fast
They probably saw it. I mean, to me, I put a check on what Kurt Warner said. He saw him make all of the throws that he needs to make. The hard outs, which he can make without any problem. I've seen him make those all season long. Outside the numbers, 10 yards and in from the line of scrimmage. Here it is. It's just a teardrop. It's a touch pass.
Oh, yep.
44 steps in front of that, likely takes it for 6 if if he can get his hands
on a rope. Like,
but he got it over his hands,
Yep.
so he couldn't do anything with it. I think that's a beautiful throw.
And I think that's a tough look to the short side of the field. Like, this congested over there. He got a lot of the little distractions and stuff. Listen, Jay, I don't think he said 7th round. I don't think it makes it past the 4th.
He's a mid-round pick, and at that point, it's if a team really loves the guy, he could go in the 3rd round. He could go in the 5th. It depends on team need in those middle rounds.
Doesn't he have the prototypical NFL quarterback size?
He's got good size.
He, as they say, looks the part.
And the run that he went on,
yes, a lot more mobile than people give him credit for.
And the playoff run he went on is only going to boost his stock. It's not going to hurt him.
Right. Now, I think the conversation before the playoffs was, especially after he lost to Michigan, he's a late-round pick.
Yeah.
But with every win in the playoff run, I think he improved his stock. And that throw to Smith, he saved the best for last. That one was the one he needed to make.
They beat all blue bloods.
I'd be stunned if he gets out of the 3rd round. I'm still going to project him as a 2nd rounder. And it's probably, maybe I'm over speculating, but I'm doing that based on the fact of the position he plays and the absolute desire for teams to go out and get quarterbacks. They're desperate. We're taking a break. When we come back, I don't even know what this topic is. All I know is it's a mystery topic, and it has something to do with the Browns' Super Bowl chances. You'll find out with us what that topic is when the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show continues. Oh, this is so good, Mike. This is so good.
Man.
This is what my ESPN buddies swore to me when they begged me to stop rooting for the Browns. They swore in their own blood, if they had to, that I will never see a Super Bowl championship for the Cleveland Browns. And someone else that's very, very smart thinks that too.
So here's what we did. I found this online, but someone had asked ChatGPT to predict the next 50 Super Bowl winners. And Steve, you can take this poll here. If you look closely, you will see over the next 50 years, there are quite a few teams that win a Super Bowl according to ChatGPT, including some teams that don't exist currently, like the Austin Armadillos, the Toronto North Stars, the St. Louis Stallions. You will also notice that there are a lot of different Super Bowl winners over the next 5 decades, according to ChatGPT. You will not find the Cleveland Browns logo. The Browns cannot even avoid catching a stray from a robot in this exercise. The floor is yours, Jay.
Well, I see just about every team currently in the league will win one. I don't see the Texans.
I don't see the Vikings.
I don't see the Vikings, the Texans. There's probably a handful of teams, the Browns, that they figure won't win one. Now, just for context, let's move up to 50 years from now. You're literally talking about 2075. And artificial intelligence sees a world where the Carolina Panthers win 4 Super Bowl titles in that 50-year span. The Detroit Lions win 3 Super Bowl titles, and the Cleveland Browns win none. I'm telling you.
The Aztecs win 2, 3.
The Monarchs, the Aztecs, the North Stars,
The Defenders.
the Defenders. Those are teams that don't even exist right now. AI actually took into account that the league will absolutely most certainly expand to at some point 34 or 36 teams. One of them will be the London Monarchs, and they predict the Monarchs will win 2 Super Bowls.
3.
You know, here's the good news for me. I would have to live to be 110 to actually see this scenario play out. I won't be alive in 2075. My mantra is just one before I die. That's been a lot of people's mantras.
Yeah.
And I'm 59, and we're at Super Bowl 59. I'm beginning to believe that it's just not in the cards.
Yeah.
It's not in the cards because they know the Haslams aren't going to sell. Artificial intelligence weighed that in.
And I thought I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna wait y'all out. I'm looking around. I'm 43. I'm like, listen, the way my eating habits is, no.
You gonna make it to 93?
You guys better hurry.
Y'all gotta give me something in the next 10 years, bro. Stop playing around, Jason. Good gracious.
I'll be 98. That ain't happening.
Man.
I hope I make it to see the Monarchs.
Hey,
That'd be
listen,
nice.
That would be kind of cool.
College took a lot out of you, bro.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah, Jason's heartless.
Yeah, like,
he feels nothing right now.
Right.
Let's wrap it with this. Of these 5 teams, which one do you believe wins the Super Bowl first? The Toronto North Stars, the Aztecs, the Defenders, the Austin Armadillos, or the St. Louis Stallions?
The Austin Armadillos.
I've been giving. Listen, man, I like the Monarchs. I like them.
Those, by the way, that's AI did a really good job at projecting where expansion is going to happen.
Right.
Toronto is oh my goodness. Well, on that note, happy weekend.
Shout out to the Armadillos.
Go Aztecs.
Go.